Magicka Nightblade for the patch Shadows of the Hist. Now, Magicka Nightblade has a lot of problems in the last patch, but right now I think there's a pretty good opportunity for it. Actually, in reality, if I'd thought of this build in the last patch, it would have worked fine. It would have been a little weaker because of one of the sets has been scaled up during this patch. But as a build in itself, the damage output is insane. My merciless tooltip, if you don't know what that is, you'll see pretty soon, is over 25k. If it crits, I can hit enormous damage, and one-shotting anything is pretty much possible. At the same time, we have really good tank ability. We have so huge shields and health, so everything works out pretty good, but our damage output is enormous. So, let's go straight into the sets. We are using 5 Alchemist on the Resto bar. This is when we're popping a potion. We are getting a huge spell damage buff, so that's when we're putting our main burst output out. Honestly, you can kill without this proc up, so you can still put a lot of pressure on, but it's not always going to go through. It's still worth trying to get them on the Alchemist proc when possible, and saving your ulti for then as well if possible as well. We're using 3 willpower on our jewel bar. That's 1, 2, and 3 on the necklace. The reason we're using this on there is our jewel bar is our execute bar, which I'll show you pretty soon. Our jewel bar is where the main damage is coming from. The rest of our alchemist is on the armor. We're using a light sash, heavy body, light hat, and light legs. That way we're getting the undaunted passive from the medium and the heavy. And then we are using 5 necropotents, 2 jewelry, and 3 armor, and all the armor is divines. The reason we go for divines over infused on the big pieces, if we were to have it, so it doesn't matter what piece you use this on. The reason we go for divines is because we want the recovery, because our recovery is slightly limited. You're going to have to sustain yourself very carefully. Muted. Am I muted? I think I'm getting trolled here by my chat. I'm going to risk it. Okay, so onto the food. We're using the tri-food, and on here we are a vampire. The reason we're going for vampire is for the extra recovery. We are running the Atronak Mundus. The reason I like the Atronak is our recovery again is a little low, 1.6k, but the overall stats are insanely high. I'm actually going to ride as I talk to you about this, just to get you some info on the actual stats when I buff up, because I'm going to need an NPC to get the pet. So the skills we're using, on the Resto bar, we're using Crippling Grasp. This is a great dot, it gives us Major Expedition for a short while. You can spam it if someone's always wanted to be in close combat, like a werewolf it's very good against. Spam that shit on them, keep them off. Then we are using Funnel Health or Swallow Soul, depending which you want. If you're playing a group, I would go with Funnel Health. Swallow Soul's better individual, in my opinion. Gives us a little extra healing, minor vitality. And then we're using Healing Ward for our base shield. Dampen Magic. We go for this over Harness because our magic pool is so massive that our shield size is huge. Most people are running Stamina right now, so honestly, Harness doesn't give us that much Magicka back. I think Dampen is better, in my opinion, right now. And then we're running Shadow Image as our teleport and our pet for the Necropotent set. We're then using Meteor. Meteor is a huge damaging ulti. We use this if we can't get the kill with the Tether and the Merciless. This is another good option, but it's also here to proc our Mage Guild passives to give us extra Magicka. I can't actually remember what this is from. There it is. Increase your max Magicka and your magical recovery. We pop that on this bar rather than the other bar just because we need some Magicka on this bar to get decent damage, but our main Magicka is coming on our Jewel bar. So on our Jewel bar, we're using Entropy. This is our Morphed. I want to use this as Degeneration for the extra healing over time. This is one skill I haven't really decided. I'll probably run a Mage Guild skill, but whether I run the Rune or not is in question because I'm already running Inner Light. I don't really know which skill I want here at the moment. The second skill is Merciless Resolve. Merciless Resolve is really insane damage. When I buff this up, the tooltip is 25k plus, and I'm still missing some of my Jewel passives. And then the third is the Siphoning Attacks, which is giving us our Sustain. I'm missing a Might of the Guild point. Holy shit, I am. My god, no one saw that. Then we have Inner Light. Inner Light gives us an increased Magicka pool by 5%, which is really good for the extra damage. And we're also going to use that to proc the Might of the Guild passive for the Empower on the 20% for the Merciless, or sometimes for the ulti to the Merciless. So I'll quickly show you my stats when I buff up an NPC a sec. So we're going to pop the Alchemist on this bar with the potion. Quickly cast that. We're going to drop a pet. We're going to swap to this bar. We're going to get the weapon enchant proc. And then you're going to see the weapons. I don't actually know if we got the enchant proc there. We didn't. Okay, so we're 4k spell damage pretty much. That was without the weapon enchant proc. 52k Magicka. So pretty crazy shit. And our Merciless is already tooltipped to 22.5k without the weapon enchant or full procs. Now, I am missing the passives in Jewel. This is a passive you're going to want to unlock on your Jewel bar. Each source increases your damage done by 1.5%. So you are going to need that. But it's not the end of the world if you don't. And obviously you're going to need the Mage Guild passives as well. And your Vampire passives and the Undaunted passives. In terms of race, we are using High Elf. This gives us quite a bit more recovery, and it gives us increased elemental damage. The elemental damage isn't that relevant, but the max Magicka is, and the recovery is. Finally, we move on to the champion points. Champion points is a pretty big mix. Green is pretty basic, 100 points in reduced cost. Pretty much all the rest are in recovery. Got a few scattered around, a couple for heavy attacks for the rest to attack. A couple in stamina recovery for CC breaks, 2 in tumbling in case you really have to. For the most part, I'd say don't stumble. And then we have 1 in blocking just to deal with any heavy things like crystal frags that we'll really have to block. It's always good to reduce that cost a tiny bit, and 1 point makes a big difference for little change. 100 elemental expert for the damage. We have quite a few in spell penetration as well. I probably should put some in this actually. I'm actually going to do that now. Let's quickly do that. We pop 10 in here as well, maybe even 13. The reason we want it in here is we are critting a decent amount. Spell crit comes kind of easy, and increasing our healing crits as well. So this actually is worth doing. And we have 13 in bless for the healing as well. Nothing in this is pretty useless for this build. And then we have 27 in thaumaturge. You could put 30, but honestly the 30 passive is so shite that it's not really worth it because it's weapon crit. So we got 27 in that. It's basically our extra point, so to say. I may actually even take that down to 22 right now. Pop those into Elfborn as well. Okay, finally we move on to the red tree. The red tree, we are running 22 in crit resist. Most of the time we're going to have a damage shield up. You'll notice my crit resist is only like 1.6k, if I quickly show you that. Because we're only using impen on our crafted sets. There it is, 1.6k. We do put some in there in case our shields are down, but for the most part you want to keep those shields up so you're fine. Now the red tree is where things get a little more mixed. We have 13 in thick skin for dots. That's not that important. 55 in hardy for physical damage reduction. There's more stamina and Magicka, so generally I put more into here, and a decent amount in elemental defender for magic damage. And then finally we have 41 in bastion for our shield size. 22 and 41 scale pretty good, so you want to go for one of those numbers. And then you want 6 in quick recovery for the extra healing. I think I've covered everything. If I have missed anything, just let me know. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you are enjoying the Magicka Nightblade again being back. If you do want to watch it live, my Twitch is Blobeso. I will always stream this stuff in action. I stream loads of builds. I will have a stamina Nightblade build coming out pretty soon as well. Really strong one-hand shield stamina Nightblade build. But in general, I will always release my builds here. I'll make some great clips with this stuff, so you will see that stuff soon. So thank you everyone for watching. Take care, and I will see you again.